Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we are going to explore a deeply emotional and beautiful story by the famous writer Gulzar. We'll be looking at the lives of an 85-year-old couple who we'll affectionately call Nana and Nani. On the surface, it might sound like a simple story about a grandfather and a grandmother, but as you'll see, it holds a really profound lesson. It's a story about love, patience, and just how far human beings will go for the people they care about most. Okay, let's dive into this. Before we look at their daily lives, I want you to ask yourself a very simple question. What does it really mean to adjust in a marriage? Does it mean you just stay quiet? Does it mean giving up what you want? Or is it something much, much deeper? Look, in every relationship, we all have to make compromises, right? But in the story of Nana and Nani, we're going to see a level of adjustment that goes way beyond what anyone might expect. The core theme of this story is the absolute, vital importance of patience and compromise in married life. Nana and Nani are 85 years old, but you know what? They often act exactly like a newly married couple. Even at that age, they have totally different habits and very different opinions. Keeping a happy, peaceful atmosphere at home doesn't just happen by magic. It requires active compromise. And that is exactly what this whole story is built on. And this brilliantly illustrates their relationship. Their personalities literally couldn't be more different. Think of Nana as a smooth, peaceful blue sphere. He just rolls easily with whatever challenges life throws at him. Nani, on the other hand, is like a rigid, practical orange cube. She is firm, unbending, and definitely set in her ways. They're completely different shapes, completely different people, trying to exist in the exact same space. Let's compare their natures using really simple English. Nani is incredibly practical, but she's also very rigid. She wants everything done her own way, and honestly, she gets angry pretty quickly. If things aren't perfect, you're definitely going to hear about it. Nana, though, he's the exact opposite. He is calm, simple, and so incredibly understanding. When Nani gets upset and raises her voice, Nana simply chooses not to fight back. Because they are so entirely different, they've fallen into a daily routine that usually happens in 3 simple steps. First comes the grumble. Nana, despite being the calm one, actually finds little things to complain about in what Nani does. That leads straight to step 2, the quibble. They start arguing and bickering over tiny things, just like a brand new couple. And finally, all that back and forth pushes them into step 3, long, heavy silences where they don't speak to each other at all. Now, looking at this endless cycle of grumbling, arguing, and silence, you might assume they're miserable. But the reality is actually quite different. Despite this constant friction, this cycle is actually exactly how Nana maintains a happy, peaceful atmosphere at home. It's their normal. By letting off steam in these small ways, Nana keeps things balanced. It's a really unique type of adjustment, but hey, for them, it works perfectly. So the crucial point is how they handle a real crisis, not just their daily bickering. The ultimate test comes when a major family dispute hits them out of nowhere. The trigger for this is a huge event. The writer's father decides to marry a second time. This is a massive shock to the family. And this single event triggers 2 entirely different reactions from our smooth blue sphere and our rigid orange cube. The contrast in how they react is just massive. Nani, completely true to her nature, becomes absolutely furious. And she doesn't just argue, she takes serious action. She literally scoops up her 2 grandchildren and walks right out, taking them away to her own house. Nana's reaction? Completely different. He stays totally peaceful. Instead of getting angered or fighting Nani's extreme reaction, he simply understands her deep feelings. He adjusts himself entirely to her nature. If you want to really understand Nana's mindset, just picture a weighing scale. On one side, you have this heavy, cracked block of ego and arguments. On the other side, a bright block of love and peace. For Nana, choosing love and peace is always going to be way heavier and much more important. He truly believes adjustment is absolutely essential. He avoids quarrels because keeping harmony is just vastly more important to him than winning a fight. When someone actually asked him about his marriage and all this endless compromise, Nana just smiled warmly and said, "It happens, son. It happens. It takes time to adjust to each other." What a beautiful, simple thought. I mean, remember, they're 85 years old. He accepts Nani completely, with all her habits, good and bad. Instead of trying to forcefully change his wife, Nana simply chooses to change himself. He bends to make their relationship stronger. But then, the story takes a truly heartbreaking turn. Nani passes away. And this loss just absolutely shatters Nana's world. The rigid orange cube is gone, and the peaceful blue sphere is left totally broken. For a man who's spent his entire life adjusting around his wife, her sudden absence creates this massive empty void. The grief is just completely overwhelming for him. This intense grief leads to a medical condition known as dissociative personality disorder. Nana's grief was so heavy and so incredibly painful that his mind took the ultimate step to keep his wife alive. How? By actually becoming her. It sounds unbelievable, but his mind started to split, and he literally began to take on the personality of the woman he had just lost. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how deeply this adjustment goes. If we take a closer look at Nana's psychological state, we see that he has crossed a massive line. He's no longer just making small compromises in his behavior. This is a total psychological takeover. He's literally keeping her safe and alive inside his own mind. The family eventually discovers the unbelievable truth of what's happening. One day, the writer walks into Nana's room and is just completely stunned by what he sees. The evidence is right there, undeniable. He finds Nana fast asleep, but Nana isn't wearing his own clothes. He is actually wearing Nani's dhoti and blouse. He has literally dressed himself as his late wife, fully stepping into her identity to make sure she never really leaves the house. As we bring this incredible story to a close, we can see that the blue and orange are no longer separate. They are beautifully merged together into a single sphere. Nana started with daily patience and love, but after Nani died, he became the ultimate extreme example of adjustment. He merged his entire identity with hers. To keep the peace and avoid facing a world without her, he literally became her. Which leaves us with a truly profound question to think about today. If ultimate love requires ultimate adjustment, how much of ourselves are we actually willing to lose to keep someone we love alive in our hearts? Nana gave up his own identity just to hold on to Nani. It's a beautifully moving testament to the extreme edges of human love and grief. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this story stays with you just as deeply as it has with me.